Hello, my fellow comic book collectors. Today, we are going to be showing you the very worst from our collection, our ugliest comics. It doesn't necessarily mean these are bad comics. It just means that they're ugly. And you'll see what we mean when we show you some of the ugly comics from our collections. But yeah, what ugly comic do you have to show for us today?
Oh, right. Well, I've got a few ugly comics. First off, and these ugly comics, although they're ugly, most of them I love. Okay.
Yes.
So the first one is one of the first comics I can ever remember buying. Okay. So I bought this when I was 12 or 13. So that's over 50 years ago. At a market stall in my hometown in Yorkshire. And I paid four pence for it. This was just after decimalisation, so it would have been about 72, something like that. And it's an Alan Class comic. And it's this one, Creepy Worlds, or 112. Okay, and
I love that cover.
It's a great, yeah. So it's the fantastic, Medusa and Spider-Man cover, but it's in horrible condition. I mean, it's had some tape put down it here. It's got spine roll. It's dirty. Somebody's written a great big 4 on it, which is how I know what I paid for it, because that will have been for 4 pence. So it's in a horrible condition, and it's got tears down the side. But this is probably one of the earliest comics I ever bought, and I can remember buying it. And I'm not going to restore this or do anything to it. It's just, for me, it's a beautiful comic because of the memories. In reality, it's very ugly. Nobody else would want ever to buy this because it wouldn't mean anything to anybody else, And I've actually also resisted buying this in a better condition. Because of if I got one in better condition, which you can get, they're not that.
You almost feel like getting rid of it at that point.
Yeah. So I'd feel a bit like cheating, like cheating on an old friend.
Yeah, it's sort of like when the wife gets a bit old. You feel like maybe I could upgrade to a 9.8, the new version.
Yeah, I hope they're not watching. Right.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's my first one. It's Creepy Worlds 112 with the Medusa and Spidey cover.
So I think that's ASM like 70 or something in that range.
Around that range. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I have it. I just I love that cover. I'm a big Medusa fan in terms of, I think she's just a very cool character. Okay, so you sort of reminded me of this comic that I'm about to show. Similar kind of experience. Basically, this is my very first Grail purchase. This is like me going out and buying that. Oh, I really want to get that Grail, that big book that was a lot of money to me at the time. It was like $25. It was 50 or $50 actually, I think I paid. Oh my goodness, what a ripoff. So I got totally ripped off because I didn't know. So back in the early 90s, I was kind of like a poor student. I was living on $50 was my entire budget for a month for food. That was my budget. I was pretty poor. So I spent all of that on this one comic. Okay. And it was my Grail. So this is Star Trek #1. And it is in ugly shape. It's like ripped, like it's missing a big chunk over here. The spine is barely there, but it is intact.
Yeah.
So it'd probably grade at like a 1.8 or 1.5.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So,
it's really ugly. But back in the day, they didn't distinguish between, like high grade and low grade. It was like low, medium, high. That was it, right? And maybe this book back in the 90s would go for about 300 in high grade.
Yeah.
And then 100 in medium grade, and then 50 was actually probably fair price at the time. But man, I felt like so ripped off. Like I was like, this is the ugliest, crappiest comic ever. It's like it's just barely a comic. But it was one that I loved. I really wanted Star Trek #1 because it's like, to me, it is a grail. It's like I was a big Trek fan at the time. That was back when Star Trek was still making good shows. It was really a cool comic to get. I really liked this one, so I was super excited to get this in my collection. I have upgraded it. I do believe in trading one's wife for a better wife. No, I was joking. But, no, I upgraded my.
Yeah, but you've got them both, Alan. You've still got your old one, so it's a bit like bigamy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm sort of, maybe I'm Mormon, I guess. Um, I'll just have a whole bunch of them. Just keep on upgrading. So yeah, I'll keep this as a reminder of like that naive time where you thought, oh, this is a really great book. It's like in such bad shape. So that was my journey on that one. Similar to yours in a way, you keep that crappy book, but yeah.
Right, my second one. I bought some comics last year from a store in. I bought them on eBay, but it was from a store in London called Krypton Comics. And when the comics arrived, the guy had put a free comic book in with it, with the order.
Oh, nice.
Well, wait till you see what it is. And this was the free comic book. Fantastic Four Annual 2. Okay.
That's a great free comic book.
Well, even it's like, I mean, it's in really rotten condition. It's got a piece missing out of it here. I think it's all that. It's got a piece missing there. It's all there. It's a square bound book, and it's the spine's intact. So I like your one you just showed. It's probably a 1.8, something like that. But even at a 1.8, this is $100 comic.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that's a great giveaway. That's a great freebie.
I couldn't believe it when I thought, usually they give you some, if they could send you a free comic, it's usually some modern rubbish you've never heard of. He's got 14 copies of it, he can't sell any. But no, Fantastic Four annual #2 from 1964.
And you're sure that he meant to give that to you?
I don't know, and whether he just picked up a comic and randomly put it in, didn't realize what he was sending me. I don't know. Wow. But that was so that's my ugly comic #2, surprise free comic. Didn't cost me anything.
And that book is super hot right now.
Yeah,
because of the whole Doctor Doom thing. So that's a really great one to get.
Yeah. So it's ugly, but I love it to bits because I didn't pay anything for it.
That's the best kind of love. Okay.
Annual #2, Doctor Doom cover. Doom is coming. Cool.
That's a great one. So I don't know. I always try to like balance out whatever you say. I try to balance out with the story that I have for one of my ugly comics. This one is like, that I collect SOTI books, right?
Yeah.
So this is one where I knew that it was good price. And I was like, okay. And it didn't look bad. The images on eBay didn't look bad. It looked like, it looked bad, but not bad. It was much worse than I thought. So so this is all famous crime #9. Okay, this is a book from Destruction Innocent. It is LB Cole cover.
Nice. Doesn't look that bad.
It doesn't look that bad from a distance. Okay. And you are far enough away that it doesn't look bad.
Yeah, I'm in a different continent,
So when I got it, I was like, what the hell's that smell? Okay. So it was like, it has black mold.
Oh no. Okay.
Yeah. So I was like, oh crap. So I actually have it double bagged and then put into this Mylite thing as well.
Yeah.
Just to like totally isolate the thing. Before I actually did all that, I did kind of kill all the black mold. I actually cleaned it and tried to save it as much as possible. So I don't think the black mold is active, which is a good thing, but I'm still not taking any chances. I have it like totally isolated. But it was so sad when you get like a comic that you really like. This is actually kind of a major book.
Yeah.
And for it to be like, yeah, very iffy because it's like, it smells. It had like, when I opened the package, it had a very
Strong smell. Yeah.
strong smell. I was like worried, oh my God, am I going to die
Yeah.
just handling this comic? So yeah, I was a bit shocked by it, but I cleaned it. I tried to take care of it as much as I could. But yeah, so this is my ugly comic number 2.
That is ugly. I don't like black mold.
Yeah, I'm so paranoid about it.
Okay, right. This next one is interesting. I've been buying comics at auctions, in auction houses in the UK. And a few weeks ago, I bought a load of comics from an auction house in a place called Sheffield. And one of the lots, it said a box of Marvel UK Hulk. And I bought this box for £12, and it's got something like 100 comics in it. So these I got for about almost 2 or 3 cents each. But they're all, I haven't shown this. I'm going to do a YouTube video about them, but they all came like this. Can you see the punch holes here?
Oh, man.
Yeah. So somebody got this fantastic collection of Marvel UK Hulks, and they this one's worse. Most of them have just got 2 holes in, and they've stamped them and obviously put them in a ring binder.
Yeah.
And I have
never understood why kids did that, but okay.
No, well, some did, and you do see American ones like this sometimes as well.
Yeah.
I mean, because they did that, they weren't thinking. They were just thinking, I enjoy reading this. I'm just going to put it in a ring folder so I can, read them later. So it's I mean, and it's got writing all over the front cover as well. There's some biro scribble over here. So this is a really ugly comic. It's pretty badly chipped and torn at the top. But we got the Hulk versus the Rhino.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great comic.
Yeah.
And actually, it looks interesting because it looks like the cover is like the interior in terms of quality.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like the typical comic where it's like a different
no
paper quality in terms of the
no it's
cover.
the same. It's the same paper right the way through it, and there's some nice stories in here. There's some classic Fantastic Four and Doctor Doom in here as a backup story.
And these were just reprints?
They were just reprints. Yeah, it came out weekly actually. Just reprinting old Marvel stuff. So this was produced by Marvel UK, who were active at the time. So I've got over 100 of these.
And is it like a unique cover? I've never seen Hulk versus the Rhino.
No, I don't know, to be honest. Possibly.
I've never heard of that. Like,
I've not.
I've seen many of these.
I don't think I've seen that on a cover either. Whether that's just from I don't know. That's a good question. I'm going to investigate that.
Yeah.
But, there we go. There's my ugly comic number 3.
So if it is the case that is a unique cover,
yeah,
that actually could be more valuable if it wasn't for the stupid hole punch. Yeah. But I mean, it's still for the price. Hey, I think you did well.
This has got a cover price of 5 pence on it, and I think that's roughly what I paid for it, if not a bit less.
So you paid cover price. That's how I wish I could buy a lot of my comics. Pay the cover price for some of these comics that I collect.
Well, that's 1973, so that's just approaching 50 years old, isn't it?
Yeah, it's quite nice. It's quite nice. So okay, so my next one, and then we'll do the rest on your channel.
Okay.
Is a really ugly comic. This is the next level of Grail that I tried to achieve. And it was like, this was like more recent. This was a big deal for me to get this book because it's another one of those iconic Grail books. And I've shown this book many times. You probably already know what it is. It's X-Men #1.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And this was like a big purchase for me. It was like couple $1,000s.
Oh, it's a big purchase for anybody.
Yeah, I paid 1,900 for this,
Wow.
and I was, I was pretty excited in a way, but because this is one of those books where I think it was graded incorrectly. It the spine is really ugly. Like, I'm not sure if you can see how ugly it is.
It's pretty ugly.
And I believe that at one point somebody tried to sell it for 7 cents.
Yeah.
And then they thought better of it, and they tried to sell it for 5 cents. And then they thought, oh man, that's just not low enough. And then they tried to sell it for 2 cents.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and they wrote that in red pen. I don't know why. So it's ugly. It's really, really ugly. It's a book that I was like super excited to get. I think it should grade at a 1 because it's complete. There's no chunks missing or anything. Like, it's actually not a bad book. It's just an ugly spine. And the spine is not detached, or I believe it is detached, but it's not split, is what I should say.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that would still qualify for a 1. I think it was just harshly graded because it is ugly.
It is ugly. I'll agree with that.
Yeah. So yeah, I thought this was a good spec in terms of, if I cracked, like, I'm never going to crack it open, but if I ever cracked it open, I think it could grade out at a 1, and that's a big
jump.
Big jump. Do you think it would? Do you think it could grade at a 1?
I don't know. You never sell them anyway, Alan, so I wouldn't bother splitting it open and getting it regraded. It is what it's not going to make the comic look any different, is it?
No, there's no hope. I'm wondering how one would remove that red marker. I think that's pretty permanent, isn't it?
It's pretty difficult. Marker's difficult because it actually sinks into the wood fibers.
Yeah.
So really difficult to get off.
It's got some weird staining to it. It's such an ugly book. But I don't know. I was still super excited to get it. It's like, that to me, it's like the big Silver Age Grail. That and AF 15, right? So those are the two big ones. Yeah, but I was very sad that it was so bad looking. It didn't look that bad actually from the thing, but in real life, it's actually much uglier. So yeah, it is my ugly book. So that is the first half of this exciting show about ugly comics that we just happen to love. We're going to do some more ugly ones on Mark's channel, and I recommend you check out. It will be fun. There'll be some really cool ones and cool stories to go with them. Okay, so thanks again, Mark.
See ya.